So if you've seen the last video, we've done now, hopefully you've done a standard template just with the logo at the top, for example, and then the navigation going underneath. So you've done the standard one. Now, I appreciate some of you might want to have the navigation going down the side, then something next to it, instead of having navigation going across. Okay, that's fine. So here I added a new div tag. Remember, in the last video, I showed you how to add div tags, and now I'm going to edit the settings for this div tag. So I've already given it a name, hashtag navigation. So it appears here. Remember, in the CSS designer, click on selector, and it'll come up with these. Okay, which you basically give names to here. So navigation. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pick my width and my height, so as appropriate for yourself. So for me, I'm going to do about 150 by, I would say, about 300 for now. I can change that. I can always change that. That's 300. Okay, maybe a little bit longer. Okay, you can always change that as you go along. And I'm just going to give it a border for now. Remember, this border is just for now, a solid. Okay, you can remove them afterwards. You don't need these borders. They're just there for us to work with at the moment. So it gives us some kind of template to work with. Okay, so then once I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a table next to it. So just have a look at the design so far. You can see there, you've got the how it looks so far, logo, navigation, yeah. And then we'll go back to live and we will insert a table this time. Okay, I'll tell you the reason why a table in a minute. So I'm going to do it after the navigation. So I'm going to do it after the navigation, insert table after, and it comes up, how many rows and columns do you want? Well, at the moment I only want one row and I want 3 columns. I can change the widths and stuff after as I go along. So I'm just going to leave it as standard for now, and I'm going to press OK. Okay, and you can see that it's popped up here. Okay, so just showing the design view again, where it's popped up at the bottom there. Okay, that's completely fine for now. I'm going to show you how you can move that so it's next to it. So that's the table there. If we go back to live, we give that table a name as well. So if you select the whole table like so you can see it's all highlighted in yellow, and then give that table a name. So hashtag, and I'm going to call it table 1, just in case I might have more tables after. If you know what's going to go in there, give it a more appropriate name. At the moment, I'm not sure what's going to go in there. So once I'm happy and I'm ready, when I'm designing my website, I could put an appropriate name. So I'm going to just enter through that, and you can see tables now, table 1's now popped up here. So what do we do now? So first of all, I'm going to take the table 1 and I'm going to go to the float. Okay, so if I scroll down, there we go, there's the float. I'm going to float that to the right, sorry, that one to the right. So I'm going to float the table to the right, and you can see the table is now over here, so it's still not in the right position. So I'll go to navigation and I'll float the navigation to the left, and you can see it's popped up here. Now once it's here, just click on the table and float it to the left. Okay, then you can adjust that afterwards. So now it's side to side. So if you go back to the design view now, and you can see the table is there. Okay, so at this point you can now, from the design, you can change the size of the whole table. So I can basically make it match the rest of the page. Obviously play about with it. There's a problem with my logo where I've not declared the right size, so I'm just gonna, there we go. So let's line it all up. So that's quite nicely lined up there. I can make these bigger and smaller as I wish from here, and I can basically change this higher or lower however I want. But I'm just going to go lower for now. Now, if you think, oh, but this is not exactly the same size, you find it tricky, that's fine. Go to the HTML. You can see the HTML at the bottom. It's added it in for you for the table. Yeah. So, for example, you can see, oh, they're about 235, 326 and 290. If you want to make them all equal lengths, that's fine. Okay, you can either do it from here, so you can basically try and work out what equal length will be from here. So let's go for about 280 and 280. Oh, that's went on. Okay, 282, and basically you can play about with it like that. So for now, I'm just going to leave it at about 285 each. 285, 285, and about 282, 284. That's that. So, but what you could do is if you measure what length this is and you divide it by 3, then you can just type the numbers in here. So you can just type numbers in here. So for example, if I change that to 200 now, you can see that first one has changed to 200. Yeah. And if I change it back to 285, I think it was, then you can see it's changed back to 285. Okay, so you can change it from here. If you do think, hang on, I want to separate that into 2. Remember, this can be different sizes. You can have a picture in there, make the second one bigger. Say if you want to you decide that I only want 2, for example, columns in there, that's fine. All you do is go to the code and delete the last one. Simple as that. And then when you go to here, you can see split it to 2. Yeah. If you think I want another row, that's fine as well. So I'll show you how to add another row. You can see it starts off with TR and it ends with same TR, but it's got a forward slash in it. So if you want to put a break in the table, that's fine. It's less than TR, greater than, and then it'll put the other TR in for you. And then all you have to do is basically you can copy and paste, or you can just put it in yourselves, type in yourselves, and if you put that in like that, you can see it puts another row in for you there. Okay, and then you can adjust that as you wish. So you can change that and move it around as you wish. It's put another couple in there for you. But you can play about with that and you can do it from there. It's quite simple. It's simple enough how to do it. Once you get the hang of it, it should be easy enough. So for now, I'm just going to leave it at that. There's my table done. I'm going to leave it at my 3 columns again. I'm just undoing what I've done. There we go. And then I'm going to insert a new div tag. Okay, so I want it there. So at the insertion point, if it asks you, put after, if it gives you the other way. So I'm going to put that div tag there. And I'm going to show you how you could basically put 2 div tags next to each other in the same way that you put these columns there, for example, a table in. Whichever you find easier is what you should do. So first of all, as always, let's go to the live view. It's because I was in design view, that's why I said insertion point. If I was in live view, then it would have given me them options, nest, before, after. I'm going to give it a name first of all, so hashtag, say pick 1. Okay, and that then gives me pick 1 here. So I'm just going to quickly, let's say the width pixel. I'm going to go for 512. I'm going to go for a height of about 150. And I'm going to give it a border first of style solid, just for my template purposes. I can leave that in there if I want. And there you can see that. Just around me a little bit. This just going to go back to design view a sec. Just push this up a little bit. It's a bit out of sync. Let's go back to live view. There we go. So I've got that now. Okay. And what I'm going to show you how to do is how to put another one next to it. So I'm going to insert another div tag after. You can see it's gone there. And I'm going to give this one another name called hashtag, and I'm going to call it pick 2 for now. And when I press enter again, hopefully you've got the gist of it now. If I scroll down, there we go, pick 2. I'm going to give it the same measurements. So I'm going to give it 512 by 150 Obviously you can put your own measurements in. I'm just doing this for example purposes, and I'm going to give it a border of a solid style solid. Okay, and we can see now there and there's two, but we want them next to each other, so exactly the same as what we did last time. Remember to select the right one you're working with. So I'm working with pick 2, so I'm going to select that first. I'm going to the properties. I'm going to find the float. So where's the float? I've gone too far. There it is. There's the float. So I'm going to float that to the right first. Okay, and then I'm going to go on picture 1. I'm going to float that to the left. As you can see, it's now near enough next to each other. So then I select picture 2 again and press left. And at this point, you can see they are, if we go to design view, you can see there in the design view, it doesn't look quite right. I'm not sure why, but in the live view, if I just show you, it should look like that. Okay, obviously that's a bit bigger, but again, you can adjust that if you go to pick 2. Okay, and I'm just going to show you another way to adjust. If you scroll over it, there's an arrow, left and right arrow that comes up. You click on the arrow, and then you can basically match it up. Sorry, I'm doing the height instead of width. So if we go on the width, we matched out. There we go. Okay, and then obviously if I want to, this might be enough for my first home page. It might not be. Actually, I want a footer with the contact us. So all I will do is I will insert a new div tag after, and you can see what happens to that div tag. Well, let's give it a name first. Okay, so first of all, name it footer. Or whatever you want to call it, contact us, or whatever it is, or it might be the logos of your social media websites, whatever it is. I'm going to give that a name first, and then I just want to go to the border quickly, and you can see what I've done. I've not selected the footer, so if I go to the footer and then to the border style, I'm going to give it a solid line. For now, I'm going to leave it at that, but what I need to do now is to make sure it goes underneath, is to find the float. Okay, now why am I finding the float? Because we need to clear it. Okay, so then you make sure you've got the footer selected. Okay, and if you press this one, it says clear both. You can see what happens. It drops down to its position, and obviously we can resize it and stuff after. We can basically do all the touch-ups after, like this one's a little bit higher here, for example, so we can make that a bit longer and so on. So we can do all these kind of little touch-ups afterwards. So that's what the live view looks like at the moment. You can see some of the stuff is not quite lined up. That's fine. We can always line that up after. As long as we've got a page set up. Remember, this will change again when you start putting stuff in, when you start dropping your content in. Okay, so it will change when you start dropping your content in. So I can change the height of either one. So I'm going to change that one, and you can see now it matches up, and the navigation looks a bit off. So let's go to navigation and change the height just a tad. There we go. So now it all looks a lot better. Width. There we go. So that is my page so far. And in the next video, I'll show you a few more skills that you could possibly adapt to your web page, because I know some of you want to put your logo here and just a little logo in the corner and then your navigation next to it, or not something else next to it. That's fine. Do it the same way, in the same way as I put the navigation there and this next to it, or in the same way I put these two next to it. You can do that at the top, so you can have a logo, for example, here, square shape, and then something next to it on the right hand side. Okay,